Welcome to episode 222 of OTD, your daily dose of soccer history by 17 Law Sky. It's June 10, 1978, Argentina, the World Cup. And today, Group 1 gives us two different kinds of drama. In Mar del Plata, France and Hungary turn up for their final group match wearing the same color, white. So France end up playing a World Cup match not in blue, not in white, not in red, but in green and white striped shirts borrowed from a local club. And in Buenos Aires, Argentina lose to Italy at the Monumental. That one goal changes the geography of the tournament. Italy stay in Buenos Aires. Argentina, the hosts, are sent to Rosario. One day, two matches, one kid farce, one relocation that changes the path to a World Cup title. But how did we get here? Group 1 in 1978 is brutal. Argentina are hosts, so they qualify automatically. They are also under enormous pressure. This is the World Cup of the military junta. The Monumental is not merely a stadium, it's a stage, a national theater, 70,000 voices, blue and white flags, confetti, noise, pressure, and politics. Italy are Italy. World champions in 1934 and 38, finalists in 70, and back with Dino Zoff, Claudio Gentile, Gaetano Scirea, Marco Tardelli, Paolo Rossi, and Roberto Bettega. They had qualified from a group with England, Finland, and Luxembourg. England beat them at Wembley, but Italy went through on goal difference. Hungary are a faded giant, but still a name with World Cup weight. Finalists in 1938 and 54. They win a qualifying group with Greece and the Soviet Union, and then beat Bolivia in a playoff. France are returning to the World Cup for the first time since 1966. Michel Platini is still young. Jean Tigana is not yet central. The great French side of the 1980s has not fully arrived yet, but the talent is visible. France qualify ahead of Bulgaria and the Republic of Ireland. And then the tournament begins. June 2nd, Italy beat France 2-1 in Mar del Plata. France score almost immediately through Bernard Lacombe, but Paolo Rossi equalizes and Renato Zaccarelli wins it. That same day, Argentina beat Hungary 2-1 at the Monumental. Hungary lead through Karoli Zappo. Leopoldo Luque equalizes. Daniel Bertoni wins it late. Hungary finish with 9 men. Then June 6th, Italy beat Hungary 3-1. Rossi and Bettega strike in the first half. Romeo Benetti makes it 3, and Andras Todt gets Hungary's consolation. Argentina beat France 2-1. Daniel Passarella scores from the spot. Platini equalizes, and Luque wins it. So before the final day, the table is simple. Italy and Argentina are through. France and Hungary are out. But the final day still matters. France against Hungary in Mar del Plata is a dead rubber, except it becomes one of the great kid stories in World Cup history. Argentina against Italy in Buenos Aires decides who wins the group, and that decides who stays at the Monumental. Let's begin with the shirts. In 1978, color television exists, but much of the world is still watching on black and white sets. For television, shirt contrast matters. Dark against light, clear silhouettes, no confusion. FIFA had communicated the kit plan for France against Hungary. Hungary would wear white. France would wear blue. That was the instruction. But the message didn't properly travel through the French delegation. Earlier communications had apparently pointed in a different direction, and the later correction was not passed down properly. The French arrived in Mar del Plata without their blue shirts. They were in Buenos Aires, roughly 400 kilometers away. Hungary were in white. France were in white. The players only realized the problem when the tracksuits come off. And this is the World Cup. Nobody can kick off because both teams are dressed the same. The solution is gloriously improvised. A local club, Atlético Kimberley of Mar del Plata, are contacted. Kimberley play in green and white stripes. Their shirts are brought to the stadium. But even that is not simple. The shirts have no World Cup numbers. There are not enough perfect matches for the French squad list. Some numbers have to be ironed on the spot. Others don't match the players' registered numbers. So a few French players end up with different numbers on their shirts and shorts. The kickoff is delayed by about 45 minutes. Then France finally take the field. Les Bleus have become Les Verts et Blancs. And the funny thing is, they play well. Christian Lopez scores in the 22nd minute. Marc Berdol makes it 2-0 in the 37th. Sandro Sambori pulls one back for Hungary in the 41st. And then Dominique Rocheteau makes it 3-1 a minute later. 4 first half goals. No second half goals. France 3, Hungary 1. France are out of the World Cup, but they have won the strangest kit day in their history. So what? The Kimberley shirts were not the first time a World Cup team had borrowed a club kit. In 1934, Austria and Germany both had white shirts for the third-place match in Naples. Austria lost the toss and borrowed the pale blue shirts of Napoli. They lost 3-2. In 1950, Mexico and Switzerland clashed in Porto Alegre, both in dark or reddish tones. Mexico borrowed blue and white shirts from local club Cruzeiro. Mexico lost 2-1. In 1958, Argentina and West Germany had a color problem in Malmö. Argentina borrowed yellow shirts from IFK Malmö. Argentina lost 3-1. So France in 1978 became the fourth classic case, but with one big difference. They won. After 1978, FIFA didn't want this kind of chaos again. Tournament administration became more exacting. Teams had to register first choice and change kits. Match colors were assigned. Officials checked contrasts for shirts, shorts, socks, goalkeepers, and referees. In modern tournaments, the color designations are published and managed weeks before the match, which is why the Kimberley story feels like an antique. Not because people were stupid, but because World Cup logistics had not yet become the machine it is now. And then there are the intentional kit departures. Costa Rica wore black and white stripes at Italia 90, a look associated with Juventus colors and the Italian host context. Germany wore red and black hoops in Brazil in 2014, a design widely linked to Flamengo and Brazilian football culture. England wore red in the 1966 final because West Germany wore white, not a clerical disaster, but still a reminder that what becomes iconic is sometimes just a change strip under pressure. But France in Kimberley green and white remains different. It wasn't branding. It wasn't tribute. It was emergency football. Now to the second drama. While France and Hungary are sorting out shirts in Mar del Plata, Argentina and Italy are preparing in Buenos Aires. The match is at the Monumental, River Plate Stadium, the biggest and loudest stage of the tournament. Argentina had opened there against Hungary, then France, and now Italy. 3 group matches in the capital, in front of crowds above 70,000, with confetti raining down. But there's a catch. Italy have a better goal difference. That means Argentina need to beat Italy to win the group. A draw is not enough. The group winner stays in Buenos Aires for the next phase. The runner-up goes to Rosario. Argentina want the Monumental. The country's pressure wants the Monumental. Several of Argentina's players, including the captain, Daniel Passareja, keeper Ubaldo Filiol, and Leopoldo Luque, represented River Plate, whose home ground is Monumental. And the only player representing a foreign club, Mario Kempes, also used to call Monumental home. But Italy don't care. Or rather, they care about winning. The match is tight, serious, and tactical. Both teams are already through. But this is not a friendly with medals waiting. This is status, route, stadium, and control. Italy are composed. Zoff is behind a defense that doesn't panic. Cirea reads the game. Gentile competes. Tardelli runs. Rossi and Bettega are dangerous. And then, midway through the second half, Italy cut through Argentina. Roberto Bettega scores. Italy 1, Argentina 0. That is the only goal. The Monumental goes quiet in a way only a massive stadium can go quiet. Not silent exactly, but stunned. Argentina lose. Italy win Group 1, and Argentina are relocated to Rosario. So what? On paper, this is the punishment. Italy's second round matches are at the Monumental in Buenos Aires in front of almost 70,000. Argentina moved northwest to Rosario, to the Estadio Gigante de Arroito, Rosario Central's ground, smaller, closer to 40,000 after the World Cup works, and not the capital's national theater. For journalists, broadcasters, staff, and supporters, that means recalculating the tournament. New city, new hotels, new travel, new stadium, new rhythm. For Argentina, it becomes something stranger. It becomes useful. Rosario embraces them. The stadium is tighter, hotter, more intimate. Menotti's side receive open arms and all the emotional temperature of the Gigante de Arroito. On June 14, Argentina beat Poland 2-0. Mario Kempes scores twice, his first goals of the tournament. Strikingly, not at his former home ground. Then Argentina draw 0-0 with Brazil. Then comes June 21, Argentina against Peru. They need to win by 4 goals to reach the final ahead of Brazil. They win 6-0. That match deserves its own episode, because the allegations, rumors, politics, and football around it still sit uncomfortably inside the story of 1978. But the scoreboard sends Argentina back to the Monumental for the final. And there, they beat the Netherlands 3-1 after extra time and become world champions. If you've ever watched the match in full, you'll agree with me when I say that of all matches, that final was confetti maxing. So the Italy defeat doesn't derail Argentina. It reroutes them. Buenos Aires to Rosario. Rosario back to Buenos Aires. From humiliation to title. And the afterlife of Rosario is fascinating too. The Gigante de Arroyo has not become a regular Argentina home. Since 1978, Argentina have played there only rarely. It did host friendlies in the 1990s, but the one official World Cup qualifier there came on September 5, 2009. Argentina against Brazil in Rosario, Lionel Messi's hometown. Diego Maradona is Argentina's coach. Messi plays. Brazil win 3-1. Luisao scores. Luis Fabiano scores twice. Jesus D'Artolo replies. Brazil qualify for the 2010 World Cup. Argentina are left in danger. The headline almost writes itself. Brazil conquer the house of Messi. Argentina hasn't played there since. I'll leave it at that. Before we go, 3 things to take away from June 10, 1978. First, World Cups are not only won on tactics and talent, they're also shaped by logistics, shirts, television, travel, stadium assignments, hotels, kickoff times, and the human beings who have to make all of it work. Second, France's Kimberley kit was funny, but it also marks the end of an older World Cup era. After that, kit control becomes more professional, more centralized, and much harder to mess up. Third, Argentina's loss to Italy looked like a setback, but it changed the emotional geography of their tournament. Rosario became the bridge between the pressure of the Monumental and the final itself. On this day in 1978, France beat Hungary 3-1 while wearing borrowed green and white shirts from Atlético Kimberley, and Italy beat Argentina 1-0 at the Monumental, a result that sent the host to Rosario and indirectly shaped the route to Argentina's first World Cup title. That's all for episode 222 of OTD, your daily dose of soccer history by 17 Laws Guy. You can help me a lot if you rate the show 5 stars. It really helps push OTD up the charts and in front of new people. And of course, if you have an idea for the show, my email is otd@17lawsguy.com. Tomorrow, we go to June 11, 1933, Sweden against Estonia, the first qualifier in World Cup history. Actually, the first qualifier for any international football tournament. See you then.